In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. Hello everybody, hope you are doing great. You're watching FOADEBATE. Alright, let me tell you a story, a familiar tale with new actors. Back in 2003, the world witnessed the grand spectacle of weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. A lie debunked by UN inspectors, yet one that was enough to justify a military invasion. Now, 2 decades later, Donald Trump has returned with a new mask but the same old script, the fight against drug cartels. But is this really about security concerns, or is it part of a larger game to dominate Venezuela's resources? American imperialism has once again hidden its face behind deceptive slogans. The deployment of 4,000 Marines to the Caribbean waters near Venezuela is nothing but a repetition of an old tragedy. In this video, I'll explore why Venezuela is now at the center of US threats, how global power rivalries like those with Russia and China have complicated this equation, and whether these threats are merely psychological warfare or if there is a real risk of military action. Let's learn from history, because as George Orwell said, those who control the past control the future. Join me as we pull back the curtain on this grand performance. Under the presidency of Donald Trump, American imperialism has ordered the military deployment of approximately 4,000 Marines to the southern Caribbean near Venezuela's coast under the pretext of fighting drug cartels. If you recall, in 2003, former US President George W. Bush and former British Prime Minister Tony Blair launched the invasion of Iraq, claiming that Saddam Hussein possessed weapons of mass destruction. This narrative was pushed even as the United Nations, through its weapons inspector Scott Ritter, debunked it. What was the outcome of that invasion and military aggression? The lie about Venezuela follows a similar pattern. The real reason behind the threat isn't drug trafficking. In reality, what Washington seeks is to subjugate Venezuela, just as it did with Iraq, Libya and Syria, to secure access to its oil and mineral wealth and install a puppet government led by opposition figures. The imperialistic slogan, "Make America Great Again," is nothing but a disguise for war, sanctions, and the plunder of independent nations. To understand the motives behind these statements, we must look deeper into the geopolitical, economic, and strategic interests of the United States. The truth is, Venezuela, with its vast oil reserves, has always been in Washington's crosshairs. Any instability in the country presents an opportunity for regime change and a return to American influence. On the other hand, the roles of China and Russia as economic and military supporter of Caracas have turned this crisis into a battleground for global powers. With these statements, Trump aims not only to portray himself as a decisive leader, but also to intimate international investors, further pressure Venezuela's economy, and weaken Maduro's government. Yet behind the scenes, we must also consider the heavy cost of military intervention for both the US and the region, escalating instability, reactions from Venezuela's allies, and condemnation from the international community. Thus, it seems these threats are more about psychological warfare and maximum pressure tactics than an imminent operation plan. However, Trump is too crazy to pay attention to these issues to achieve his goal. In the end, what is happening in Venezuela isn't just a local drama. It's a reflection of global power struggles and an attempt to redefine regional order in an era of geopolitical transformation. So, as we have seen, the spectacle of military threats against Venezuela is a new chapter in an old book, a book whose pages are stained with the blood of people of Iraq, Libya, and Syria. This time, it is not under the pretense of weapons of mass destruction, but under the mask of fighting drug cartels. Yet the truth always lies behind these slogans. This is about oil, power, and a global confrontation that threats Venezuela as just another pawn on the geopolitical chessboard. But what do you think? Will the outcome be different this time, Or are we witnessing a repetition of past tragedies? What, in your opinion, is the primary motivation behind the US threats? Control of resources, containing rivals, or both? And most importantly, should the global community remain silent in the face of this recurring script? I look forward to your valuable insights in the comment section. Until next time, take care and have a great day.